Welcome back, Truth Seeker. Caught that ESPN gave Alabama 57.5% chance to win the national championship over Georgia. Earlier this week, put out a video on why a lot lines up for Alabama to win it. I want to show you what's so special about this number 57, or in this case, 57.5%. There's a language called gematria. It's the practice of coding numbers into letters. Practically every public university in this nation has its mascot named from this code. And if you learn this code, you can figure out why your school is named what it is. Talked about this with the UW Huskies before. I live up here in Seattle. Talked about this with a number of teams. The Purdue Boilermakers and so many more. The Christian Horned Frogs at TCU. Pretty much every school, without exception, is named by this code. And in the case of 57, it's a very special number. Big number, but let's just keep it relevant to football and football history. Last year, the Patriots won the Super Bowl in their 57th season. The year before that, in October, I said why the Broncos would beat the Carolina Panthers in Super Bowl 50. And all throughout that season, I was talking about this story. Probably from November 6th on all the way up until the Super Bowl, I talked about this 50 times over. ESPN put out this story, and they kept it on their front page for months. They kept it up the whole time until Peyton Manning won the Super Bowl. There are 57 high school football players in Indiana named Peyton. And look how long the story is. It's a minute 31. Here's why that matters. Using the alphabetic order, if you write out the word 57, F is 6, I is 9, F is 6, T is 20, Y is 25, S is 19. You do all the letters for 57 and add it up, it sums to 131. The same's true with Super Bowl. The same's also true with the word championship. And if Alabama wins this championship game, they'll become 13-1. 2 years ago, I guaranteed Alabama would beat Clemson because they were 13-1. The other team was 14-0. The word end equals 14. Last year was the opposite. Clemson was 13-1. Alabama was 14-0. And I was a little bit torn last year. I said I leaned towards Clemson, but I couldn't decide if they'd give Alabama their 17th title in 2017, like how they got their 16th in 2016. If they get their 17th this year, it'll be to close out the 2017-18 season. But notice if Alabama wins this game, they'll be 13-1. ESPN with the 57% odds. Alabama's the Crimson Tide, 57. You write out 57, sums to 131. Same as championship. Same as Super Bowl. These four methods up here, they are the base ciphers based on the alphabetic order, forwards and backwards. You know, a second ago we were talking about how 51 equals 131. The way it equals 50, as you see in this reduction method, is because when you get to T, F is 6, so F is 6, I is 9, I is 9, F is 6. But when you get to T, T is 20. But in reduction, it's 2 plus 0 is 2, so T is worth 2. Y is 25, but in reduction, it's 2 plus 5 is 7. Y is 7. Make each letter a single-digit number. S is 19. 1 plus 9 is 10. 1 plus 0 is 1. Anyway, championship in reduction is 68. And that matters because this is going to be the 68th game all time between Alabama and Georgia. And this time it's for the national championship in this newer college football playoff format. And let me pull up this post so it's easier for you to see on the screen. I just put this up here. SEC ESPN 9. This should pull it up. 9 years ago, ESPN signed... I have a lot of blog posts, so if you don't search right, you might have trouble finding what you're looking for. Here we go. This is it, though. 9 years ago, this is the 9th football season of this deal, ESPN signed a 15-year, $2 billion deal with the SEC Football Conference. Georgia and Alabama are both in it. This is the 9th season with this deal, and ESPN, which will be showing the championship game, now has this all SEC championship. And I want you to notice that SEC's 9. This is the 9th season with this deal. Now all SEC championship playoff game. A made-for-TV format, what the viewing audience wanted to see. The game's on January 8th, 1/8, SEC 18. It's January 8th, 18. The date, 1 plus 8 plus 18 is 27 date numerology. Georgia advanced with 54. Anyway, what are the odds of this championship 9 years after that deal? And again, just for a little more reminders, these things go through professional and collegiate sports. 2 years ago, the Warriors got their home winning streak snapped at Oracle, which equals 54. 54-game win streak snapped at Oracle. That night, the ESPN doubleheader was first the Cavs, who got their 54th win, then the Warriors, who got their winning streak. And I said that was another sign that the Cavs would be beating the Warriors in the championship. They ended up beating them in Oracle in Game 7. And from that season, before it even began, I said why the Cavs would beat the Warriors. You know what to look for. You follow the clues. You see what's being foreshadowed. So, 57, 131, all SEC championship. Now here's the best part. Nick Saban is 11-0 against his former assistants. Kirby Smart's a former assistant. It's going to be their first matchup. If he beats Kirby Smart, he'll be 12-0 against assistants. Okay? Big storyline. Georgia last won the college championship in the 80-81 season. That was 37 seasons ago. Last time Georgia won it. Georgia equals 37. 37's the 12th prime. If Nick Saban beats Georgia, he'll beat Kirby Smart, becoming 12-0. You see this? And, I mean, how perfect is it? We see this all the time, 37 the 12th prime. I guaranteed there'd be a Triple Crown horse winner the year American Pharoah won it, because it had been 37 years since the last Triple Crown. American Pharoah became the 12th Triple Crown winning horse all time, winning the 3 major races. The other night, before the Raiders game ended against the Cowboys, before Derek Carr purposefully fumbled the ball through the end of the end zone, told a big Raiders fan that the Raiders were going to mess up somehow. The game would be stuck at 37 points because it was the 12th game all time between both teams. Again and again, 37 and 12 are coming together in sports. It happens a lot. Here would be another shining example of how they coded 37 and 12 in the rigged sports outcome. The only argument I could make for Kirby Smart to win this game is it is 37 years since Georgia last won, and there is this riddle with 12 with Nick Saban no matter what, because it's going to be the 12th game against an assistant. He could become 11-1. 11's a big number in football. But again, if you saw what I showed earlier, too much lines up for Alabama for me to say that Georgia's going to win. Georgia comes in with a 13-1 record. Remember, Alabama also equals 13 in gematria. They'd get their 13th win of the season, leaving Georgia at 13. I think it's likely, especially with headlines like this. The 57.5% odds. Just like all year, Peyton Manning, 57 kids in Indiana, minute 31 story. You see? Mocking. It's all mocking. It's all made up propaganda by the numbers. So, I think we covered it all. If you missed the videos I put out earlier this week, check them out. Till next time, True Seeker.